man. That's right. You drop some on him real quick. Don't mind. Where's my money? You got that? All right, cool. Now let me get into this real quick, and then as soon as I get done with that, I will give you something white to chew on. I know you want to eat a white person this morning. I need to put you in therapy for that, so you can stop hating on the white folks. He gonna be all right. Don't do that. Where's my money? Where's my money? Grand rising to you. Where is my money? Is how I'm coming at you this morning on the morning mental. A little late, but because I had to find out where's my money. Salute to all of you all this morning, Grand Rising. Sorry that I couldn't get with you soon, but you ever had one of those situations where you about to walk out the house, and as you about to walk out the house, you know for sure you had your keys right here, and no matter where you look in the house, you done tore the whole house up, you can't find your keys. You start accusing people in the house who had nothing to do with it. All of a sudden, you done burned every bridge in the house because you've acted a complete ass looking for your keys. And then you think it's a conspiracy against you. It's no longer that your keys are missing. It's everybody in the house has something to do with it, and they do it to teach you a lesson. Where's my money? Is even worse, because then you start to think that you know damn well nobody in the house didn't touch your money, that nobody in the house did not take your last whatever you had, and that you need it right now. People don't play when it comes to their money. If you have to ask somebody, where's my money? There's normally some action that follows behind that. If you got somebody on your job or somebody that you hang out with that owes you some money and you see them, eventually, if they don't say something, you're going to be forced to say, where's my money? And most of the time, it's not polite. It's like, say, Bob, you know, you've been owing me this money for a while. And I know I've been seeing you with new shoes, new jackets, taking your girl out, getting a fresh haircut. But I haven't seen a dime come this way and you haven't said it. No, that's not the way it happens. I'm up early on my morning mental because it hit me that a lot of you all would turn around and say, and a lot of y'all should say, to some of the same people that you have sunk your money into, who promised you a better way of life, who promised you a roadmap to get out of hell, who promised you ice water in the middle of a raging fire. You need to look at them and say, where's my money? You see, knowledge is only valuable when you apply it to solve your way out of a situation. For instance, if you don't know that if you mix certain chemicals together, they cause an explosion, how are you going to blow a blow a hole in the wall that's holding you back? I got to say that one more time. It's too early in the morning for all of this. How are you not going to be able to get out of what's holding you back if you don't take the knowledge that's given to you? If you don't take the knowledge that's put on a DVD and sold to you, that's put in a book and sold to you, that's put on a broadcast or a podcast and you are paying to see it. You're putting your money into getting the knowledge. But once you get the knowledge, do you put the knowledge together like the pieces of an explosive and blow a hole in the wall or whatever's holding you back? No, we don't. So we find ourselves in a situation where where's my money is what we should be thinking about this morning. I'll tell you why you should be thinking about where's my money on this morning, because of the simple fact that y'all don't remember this, but I'm going to have to help y'all out. You see, we have gone through stages of violence in America. We have evolved through stages of violence. We commit violence, yes, but we commit it against a certain demographic. We commit it against a certain people. We commit it against a certain group, depending on what's on our minds at that time. Y'all don't remember this, but I remember when drive-throughs, y'all remember drive-through? Remember the drive-through first came into the fast food scene, and y'all don't remember this. Some of y'all too young to remember this, but when drive-throughs first came through, they wasn't like they was now. You didn't just drive up, have a conversation. The conversation was over. You got your food and you left. It wasn't streamlined like it is today. They wasn't able to do 2 and 3 lines at the same time where they got the alternating and they got one person working the money and one. They didn't have all that at first. They didn't. Y'all remember that when the drive-through first came out, it was just this thing that they built on the side of the restaurant. And we was like, well, do I take my car in? Do I get out what part does the car play in all of this? And then we found out you didn't have to get out your car. Nowadays, people lose their minds if they sit in a car too long. Nowadays, people are so much in a rush. It's like it's an inconvenience even for you to be in the car. We just want the food just to magically pop up out of nowhere. We don't want to get in the drive-thru no more. We don't want to talk to nobody no more. We don't even need any assistance from anybody no more. We just want it, boom. We just want it to be there. Y'all remember that? Well, when the drive-thru first happened, a strange phenomenon happened also. People began to feel like they weren't getting the full treatment at the drive-thru that we used to get at the front counter. Let me break it down. Fast food has fallen off a whole lot. It's turned into a very dangerous institution and it will poison you. But in the very beginning days, it used to be a time when going to places like McDonald's was not this ghetto experience that you have today. It was something that you would dress your kids up. It was something where your family would promise you they would take you if you were good. It was something where you went there not just for the food. You went there so you could encounter the characters, the Hamburglar and the Ronald McDonald and, the kids. It was an experience. And it became bigger. So going to McDonald's was like going to the amusement park. It was. Kids, I'm going to go to McDonald's. Kids would lose their mind. You couldn't get your kid. You want to get your kid to calm down? Said, y'all be good. I take her to McDonald's. Everybody was straight. Then it came out with the drive-thru. People started to feel like the experience that they were getting in the drive-thru was not the same experience that they had at the counter. They felt like they was getting shortchanged. They felt like they were getting rushed. They felt what the whole purpose of the drive-thru was to rush, but we're going to get back to that. It felt like they was getting rushed. So what did they do? People used to flip off the drive-thru. Come on, y'all, here come the comedy. Y'all remember this? Remember when you used to go through the drive-thru and don't act like I'm the only one that ever said it. Everybody on this live, good morning, how y'all doing, Grand Rising? If that's what you want to hear, whatever makes you feel better to be back in the earth realm, in birth realm with us, I bid you greeting. But what I'm saying, remember, I'm not the only one that said this. Remember this line right here? You look in the bag, you better get my goddamn order right. Remember that? It was always a threat that you said to yourself, they better have your order right. If they didn't have your order right, don't let somebody have to get out the car and come in. You see, I told you they got it all fixed today. They even got a spot for you to pull over. They didn't used to be no spot. It was you handled your business right there at the window. You looked in the bag. You had your boy. He was on lookout. He acting like he ain't got nothing to do with it. He looking the other way and you be like, check the bag. And you get him the gangster look. Meaning it better be right because we had a history that if the order wasn't right, we would stop the car. We didn't care where it was. We would block out traffic. If you had to get out your car and come in, it was going to be a problem. Y'all remember that? Remember it was going to be a problem. Remember you could be in there eating in the McDonald's and you see somebody get out there, come like, what's going on? Because now you have inconvenienced me twice. First, you made me drive my car through here, which took a little bit of skill in the beginning. People was raggedy at first. And I thought I was saving some time, but now I'm going to waste time coming back to get something fixed that the whole idea in the beginning was to help me out. Stay with me, y'all. I'm going somewhere with this. But y'all got to take the ride with me on this one this morning. Because where's my money? It's going to be coming out your mouth before this is over. So you go back in the store. What an attitude. You had an attitude because it didn't work. Whoever designed this drive-through thing, somebody done messed up somewhere. And they either messed up your money, remember that? or they messed up your order. And if they messed up your order, you went back in the store with it. And I'm going to tell you where you used to go off the rails. Y'all don't remember this, but go do your research. There was two types of receptions you got when you went in about the situation. If you went into the situation and they knew they messed up, they were more than willing to fix it. They even gave it to you for free. You know, there were some people who were just like, look, we know, we're sorry, no biggie. Hey, let's get this man taken care of. And everybody kind of went away kind of cool. But every once in a while, you had these people who act like their last name was McDonald's. You know, my name is J. McDonald, GrandMaster McDonald. I own McDonald's. That's how they was acting. So for you to come in was like going back into the bank and telling them that they didn't give you the right amount of money when you made your withdrawal, even after you signed the sheet and got the piece of paper and all of that. Y'all know about that. But you going back up in there, they like, what do you mean? And they would give you a hard time. And when it came to money and food, if it's one thing I know about the black community, white folks, I don't know what y'all was doing up there, but in the black community, there's two things you don't play with. You don't play with no black person's food, and you don't play with no black person's money. You don't play. You don't do it. It's not a joke. Don't go there. Don't put yourself in that position. So what happens is you got somebody who already feel like they shortchanged, so they coming in, they right here, and they want to know what's going to happen, how you going to fix the situation. You acting an ass back there because you in charge of McDonald's, so you think that you don't have to look, sir, you know, you got your order. We don't know what you might have did with it. They say crazy stuff. You might have bit off of it. Woo, and before you know it, the situation will get escalated and it goes somewhere it did not have to go. Y'all don't remember this, but I do. There were a couple of times when people didn't play that at all. They went back up in there and they shot those people. They went back up in there and they started murdering people. They went back up in there and they killed everybody up in there. Research San Ysidro, California, and go back and look at the guy who drove down there and killed all those people. Killed the kids, killed everybody at the McDonald's. People wasn't playing. And then go and look at a few of the other incidents that happened where you had like what happened down at was it the Luby's cafeteria down in Texas where the guy drove the pickup truck completely through the wall and got out and just started murdering people inside of the Luby's where people will go to eat. After about 2-3 of those shootings in America, two things changed. The first thing was, didn't nobody really want to sit in a restaurant no more, like a McDonald's or a Burger King, and that's why they don't do it today. Y'all think people just don't like, you wonder why they built these big restaurants and they got all these seats and there's nobody in there. There used to be a time when you couldn't find a seat in a fast food restaurant. You had to walk in and just look around and be like, damn, I got to come back. It was a situation like that. But nowadays, you can sit in there if you want to. Times change. And you know you liable to become a victim sitting there eating whatever it is that you know you shouldn't have been eating, but you had to have it anyway. Now it's going to cost you your life. They had a hard time getting people to come back. Grand risings to you too. They had a hard time getting people to come back. I'm on the morning mental right now. People, you know, if you had to really be, how can I say this? You had to either be oblivious to history, or you were strapped yourself, or you just didn't care. Or you were just that hungry that you say, yo, we're going to sit in here. We're going to eat this. And to this day, they take that seriously because most people, if they had to go through all of that trouble, they wanted their money back. And the last thing you could say to a person is, I'm not giving you your money back. You got to think about that thing because everybody's not going to receive that the way you think. Saying I'm not going to do it nowadays will get you blown away. I'm just being real with you. And I'm one of the main people that is holding back saying blow somebody away. I wish all of you all are grand rising. The few of y'all that have joined, it's not a whole lot. I understand some of y'all are weak-minded. You get taken away. They get taken away by propaganda, but that's okay. They never said all of us was going. Y'all beginning to see what they mean by the falling off. Y'all want to know why the number is so small. Why is it only 144,000 out of 57 million? Aren't y'all seeing it happen right in front of you? Some of y'all, it's happening in your house. You got people falling away from you, saying you crazy, saying that you can't do this, you can't. Y'all watching the falling away. And when the 144,000 gets called, because remember, he doesn't call to qualify, he qualifies to call. He gonna call the most broke up, jacked up, messed up individuals and going to change them to do exactly what he needs to do in these last days. It's not gonna be all y'all who think that you've been waiting and you've been prepared and you prayed up and you hold this title and you done gave to this and you a member of that and you kuma. Y'all are the last ones that's going to get called. It says those who exalt themselves shall be humbled, and those who humble themselves shall be exalted. And those of you all who don't understand that when you see it being done in front of you because it doesn't look like how you would do it in your jacked up way, you said that it can't be true. But it's not about you. You're not the judge. You're not the one making the final decision. The Most High makes that decision, and he's making it right in front of your face. That's why a lot of y'all, as much as you want to tune out and turn this off, you cannot, because your spirit say you do that if you want to. I ain't never told you wrong. And now I'm telling you right now, if you don't listen to this, you're going to be, as they say, assed out with no way back. Now, let's get back to where's my money. The reason I had to say that is because I feel the same way about the liberation of the black nation. No matter what we do, it's going to cost us something. But the last thing we want to do is find out when we get what we ordered that it's not what we ordered, or it's not worth what we paid for. It's almost like somebody saying, I'm going to sell you a diamond ring, and you pay for a diamond ring, but you get a cubic zirconium. Now you're mad because you didn't get what you paid for. So if the triple OG can talk to you for 2 seconds, I want to let you all know I'm constantly researching this and I'm constantly trying to make it fit. And sometimes I have to go back and look at it again. So if you got a chance to catch the abbreviated version of Facts Over Feelings last night, I laid out the budgetary requirements of what it would take if just 20 million of us gave $14 a piece to rack up enough money to buy enough land to build the city that we talked about the other night, where I broke down all of the moving parts and all of the supporting pillars of the first black true city owned and operated, supported by black people, which is something that's not far-fetched, especially when you're just talking about $14 out your pocket plus $10 on top of that to finance a 55,000 man army with a payroll and everything that go with it. That's what, $25, and we up and running. I showed y'all that last night, but I went back and I started looking at the math and I said, wait a minute, this can't be right, because when I started to do the math myself, I said, we don't overcharge these people. Now I'm gonna go back and fix that this morning, because I know I don't want none of y'all calling me up saying, where's my money? Like some other people who done promised y'all some pipe dreams, told y'all they was gonna bring this back and bring that back and buy this back and get that back and restore this and let's rock this. They gave you all of these empty promises and you gave them all your money. And in the end, what did you get? Nothing. We're still in the same damn boat. People still getting killed. We're still playing the same old voting Democratic Republican game that gets us nowhere. We're still walking around in cultural ignorance. We're still walking around in selective educational amnesia. We're still doing all those things. The only thing that's happened is our pockets are a little lighter and somebody's living a little better. So I just thought I want to come back and let you know we went back and did some accounting ourselves, and we found out we have overcharged us in one place and undercharged us in another. So I got some good news and I got some bad news. So before we begin, I gotta touch on a few things first. I gotta talk about a few things. I can't get into that without getting into this first. This is going to be a morning mental that'll be something you want to play back. I told you we're not looking backwards anymore. Every morning mental, every Facts Over Feelings, until I decide to terminate this, because I will soon, is going to be geared. We're giving you the information and the tools that you will need after I'm gone that will give you the blueprint to not only free yourselves, to not only defend yourselves, but how to build your society, your civilization, and advance yourselves as an equal player on the world stage. No more, no less. All right. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about a situation that I know a lot goes on, and sometimes things get past us and they don't get the attention that they need. Yeah. Down in Houston, yep, Houston, Texas, there was a retired police officer who was at home with his wife, and they were in the bed, and everything was cool. And all of a sudden, he heard some noise at his front door. Oh, so him and his wife go downstairs to see who's at the front door, who's that peeking in my window. And it turns out it is the police. And the police from the Harris County Sheriff's Office, they at his door. And they trying to ask for somebody that he ain't never heard of. And he's telling them, don't nobody live here by that name. And they said, no, we coming in and we looking for this particular person. And so they proceeded to break down the door. They broke down the door. He videotaped them breaking down the door. Now, he could have started shooting at them when they came in the door. I'm pretty sure if he had, they probably would have shot back. Now, let's just say down in Texas, let's say they shot his wife and killed her, who was just standing there watching the whole thing. Unfortunately, fortunately that didn't happen, but he also didn't start shooting either. They were looking for somebody by the name of Curtis Rogers. There was no Curtis Rogers that lived at the house. As a matter of fact, it turned out they had the wrong house. They came on in, guns blazing, and of course, kicked down the man's door. Just so happens he was a retired police officer. And they came on in, told him and his wife, get, where you gonna get down, get over. You know, they gave him the treatment. Whole time he's telling them they got the wrong house. Whole time he's telling them there's nobody here by that name. But they just was determined to do their job till they found out he was an ex-cop. Now, here's the problem. They was trying now to say they gonna come back and say, well, no, you did this wrong and you did that wrong when they came up in his house. Matter of fact, as one of my viewers pointed out, we surprised they didn't plant they didn't plant the guy that they was looking for in the house. That's how much they would look Curtis Rogers. They would have said, hey, we found him over here. They planted him in the house. We don't know. The bottom line is what happened to that retired police officer down in Houston, courtesy of KTRK, thank you, is the same thing happened to Breonna Taylor. Y'all gonna stop this going to people's houses, just kicking down people's doors like this the wild, wild west gung ho. Y'all been watching too much cable. One or two things you can expect to happen. You come kicking down people's doors, they're either gonna start shooting back at your ass. And with the understanding that now that we know that y'all will not act like police officers, you're just going to rain a hail of fire. That means we got to be prepared to send back a hail of fire. That means that going forward, if you in your house, minding your own business, and all of a sudden you hear some noise downstairs, that doesn't mean you grab your weapon and run downstairs and say, who's at the door? Everybody in the house strap up. I need everybody up. Wife, grab yours. Kids, get what you got. Everybody, the little kids you've been training, even break off a 22 for the baby, put him in a stroller and roll his ass up too. The whole family behind the door. I'm going to need a couple of y'all to cover the back. Let's go ahead and now, hello, what do you want? Because that's how they coming at you. But it just happened again down in Houston, Texas. Ran up in them people's house. Just so happens he was a retired police officer. But also at the same time, while a lot of y'all sitting around thinking about 9/11 and how horrible that was, something else happened that you didn't hear about. Also in Houston, that's right, 4 Houston police officers have all been fired from their jobs. They were fired because they shot a mentally disturbed man 21 times. 21 times. He was emotionally disturbed. He was on the ground. He was wounded. He was incapacitated. And then they shot him 21 times. They shot him while he was holding the taser in his hand that had shot him. He was looking at it. And they shot him. They fired all 4 of those officers. But ain't nobody said too much about that. Nah, they ain't gonna talk about that. Nope, not gonna do it. And the reason being is because this is not an isolated incident, my people. This is a culture. meaning it's everywhere. The police culture has deteriorated to this point. And now the question now becomes, what are you going to do about it? And if that wasn't bad enough, oh, they on a roll around here. I find it ironic that all of these stories are coming out of the South. In Charleston, South Carolina. Yep. I got to tell you all of these things before we get to why you're going to want your money back. In Charleston, South Carolina, there's an art museum. They had an art museum down there, the Gibbs or the Gibbs Museum of Art. They released a collection last week that was titled "Wear Their Names." Y'all see, then y'all wonder why we tell white people they can't help us. Y'all think a little silly shit like this. Wear their names. It featured jewelry made out of shattered glass from windows smashed during the Black Lives Matter protests in Charleston in May of this year. And pieces of the jewelry were named after the victims of police brutality with different prices for each one. They had a $240 necklace named the Breonna Taylor. The Breonna Taylor necklace for $240. You could get a $45 set of earrings called the Trayvon for Trayvon Martin. And a $480 necklace called the Elijah for Elijah McCain. Now, the couple behind the line, a guy by the name of Paul Chalmers and Jean Nguyen. I'm not going to say a word. Y'all letting people come in and profit off of your pain. You letting people come up and profit off of the pitiful stuff that they're doing to you. You letting people come up and profit off of the pathetic way that they treat you. And they intended they said that they intended the profits from the jewelry line to go to charity. But a lot of activists said that's wrong. They're trying to commodify black trauma. They got busted. So they pulled the line and now they're starting to get threats, and y'all know the routine. Y'all quick to pick up the phone. Man, if you don't stop selling that shit, I'm gonna come down that moment. You know, that's what's happening. Now they peeking out their window. Now they looking like Malcolm. What's going on? Here's what's going on. This is evidence that we live in a society that does not value us. They only value the money they can make off of us. If black people didn't spend another dime starting today with anyone other than black people, you wouldn't have to worry about me talking about y'all getting out of here. They'd get you out of here. If you refuse to spend another dime with any other race other than your own, they would find a way to force you into some type of situation where you would have to. So here comes the money. We talked about building a city somewhere here, for those of y'all who don't have the backbone to leave, building a city here somewhere in the United States. And how big would that be? And how much land would that take? And what would be the moving parts? Y'all remember that? When we got done, those of y'all who attended the class the other day, it all added up. The total needed for a 1 million person city. We would need 100 square miles for housing. We would need 15 square miles for recreation. We would need 10 square miles for retail. We would need 500 square miles for agriculture. We would need 20 miles for our solar panels to power our city. We would need 100 square miles for industrial. And we'd still need 100 square miles of forest to create all of our raw materials and so forth. Our new city, therefore, will require 840 square miles of land. Now, here's where the problem came in, and here's where you got to get your money back. When we talked about how big is 845 square miles, one way to think about it, we said is a piece of land that's 29 by 29 miles. Or try this visualization. If you look at the state of Rhode Island on the map, the state of Rhode Island is bigger than the space we need for our new city. Rhode Island covers 1,212 square miles. In other words, if Rhode Island was shaped like a square, Rhode Island would be 35 by 35 miles. Rhode Island is a good bit bigger than what we need, and we can easily fit our new standalone city for 1 million people into the state of Rhode Island very easily. Now, when we took that math and we plugged it in, y'all remember we plugged it in, we looked at all of the real estate value for acreage, because we got to turn it to acreage around the United States. We found out that the state with the cheapest real estate value for acreage was Wyoming, which is only $1,558 an acre. They're the cheapest in the whole damn country. So let's just say, because we like to shop smart, we're going to say, okay, Wyoming, you got the land the cheapest. You got plenty of land. We're coming out there. We're going to need 29 by 29 miles. Now, here's where it gets weird. When you do the math, 29 by 29 miles doesn't give you the same amount of acreage that 845 square miles does when you do the conversion. So we had to go back and do the conversion. When we did the conversion last night, it sounded like something just didn't make sense to us, because when I looked at the numbers, I said, oh, okay, if they say so, according to the math, we would only need 18,560 acres in order to make this particular 29 by 29 city. But that is not exactly how it all computed out when we went in and we did the math again. It came out to be a little different. What we found out was no, that's not true. And y'all gonna be a little pissed off when I tell you this, but the truth of the matter is at $1,558 an acre for 840 some odd square miles is much more expensive than the 290 million that I gave you last night. It actually comes out to $843,563,520, which sounds like a ton of money, until we also plug in the second part of our formula last night, which if you divide that by the 20 million people who would pay into it, it comes out to $42. $42. You see, at first we thought we owed you some money because we overcharged you. But then we went back and looked at how much land we were really talking about. Now it comes out to $42. Watch what's about to happen here. $42. Add the $10 on top for the 55,000 man army. $52. You mean to tell me that I would have to make a payment of $42 one time just to get the land? That's just to get the land. And then $10 after that just to finance the army? Where's my money? Exactly. So here's what I'm about to say to you all. And what I'm about to propose is audacious. And I just know ignorant, uneducated, scary ass Negroes gonna lose their mind, but I got to put it out there. And this is why I'm saying it to you. These people ask you for money open-ended, with a promise that's open-ended. They never come to you like what we're saying. Here's a plan. Here's a framework. And here's how much it will cost. Exactly. And this is what we get for it. Who's in? Period. Not just donating. We're going to make up something. No, this is no hedge fund. I'm actually talking about we plan it. We identify. We scope out. We look at, we survey the land. We find out what it's going to cost to buy it. We look at the related infrastructure. We look at all those things, the cost of installing all of the carving out, the zoning, the whole 9 yards, and come up with a definitive plan. And beside that, put the price tag and then say, okay, it matches just what we said. And now everybody put into this place over here so we can pay for this. Not nobody sitting around getting rich off of you, trying to eat off the stuff that you've given them. And then later on, when y'all go in and do some type of an audit, find out they done took your money and bought weddings and bought fantasies and all kind of silly shit. And everybody sitting around talking about, well, it sounds like a good idea to me. And then you got these other scary Negroes sitting around talking about, no, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Well, what are you doing? See, that's the part about, no, don't do nothing. Okay, what do you have to offer? I'm calling everybody out at this point. Oh, don't come at me with so and so is doing this and so is doing that. Yes, I have read the contract with Black America that Ice Cube has posted. It is a very good document. So please don't throw that at me. Yes, I know y'all want me to talk to Tip because Tip is over at Lloyd's of London trying to shake them down for reparation. That's what Tip is doing. What Cube is doing is different than what Jay is doing. Jay is trying to build an ethno nation. If I have to start with an ethno city, we need a place of operations, and all those things that they're talking about feed into this. But the actual acquiring of the land, the appropriate amount of the land, the carving up of that land for its useful resources, the populating of that land with the correct people, the businesses to support that land, and then the actual retail and the revenue to support that particular structure, complete with the governmental structure and a military structure to protect it at all costs. Since somebody asked me, well, how are you going to protect us if you rebuild Black Wall Street? There was nobody to protect us before, because you didn't pick up a gun and organize yourselves and defend yourselves. Let me help y'all out. Last night, y'all heard an interview where white folks tried to get get slick and ask me, well, can you talk to us a little bit about the history of militias? As if I'm dumb enough to sit there and tell you what I really already know. Have y'all ever heard of the red shirts? Are y'all familiar with the massacre of 1898? How many of you all know that Wilmington, North Carolina used to be a very prominent black city with prominent black lawyers and architects and doctors? They were bigger than Black Wall Street, in case y'all ain't heard about this one. But what you didn't hear about was in 1898 that there was a duly elected government that consisted of blacks and whites that ran Wilmington, and the racist white superiority people said that they were going to use the media and then they used their guns to overthrow a duly elected government and ran the black people out of town, destroyed their unified government. And since that day has changed the dynamic. They used a militia to do it. They were called the red shirts. Every Democrat must feel honor bound to control the votes of at least one Negro by intimidation. That's what they said. Purchases and keeping him away. We must attend every radical meeting. Democrats must go in as large numbers as they can and well on. Behave at first with great courtesy. And as soon as their speakers begin, tell them that they are liars and only trying to mislead the ignorant Negroes. That's what they said. I'm not saying that. I am reading a document that they put out. You know them same Democrats you want to vote for right now? Them the same ones that got you under a brainwash. In speeches to Negroes, you must remember that they can only be influenced by their fears, superstitions, and cupidity. Oh, really? That's what they doing to you today. I'm going to say it again. The white boy said it. In speeches to Negroes, you must remember that they can only be influenced by their fears. They appeal to your fears first, and you scary Negroes falling for it. They've been doing it to you for years, and I'll be damned if they're not doing it to you right now. Yet y'all the first one to sit around talking about, no, don't follow him, don't do that. But you ain't got nothing to offer but keeping your slave-minded ass up on the porch and just hoping that you can rise and sleep every day. Your whole existence is just about rising and sleeping and getting something to eat and making a few dollars to scratch off of the master. You ain't trying to build no civilization. You ain't trying to build no cities. You ain't trying to leave nobody nowhere. And then you got the audacity to talk to us real black kings like your words got weight. We ignore you because you ignore a fool so that everyone can see that he is mad. It says right here, never threaten a man individually. If he deserves to be threatened, the necessities of the times require that he should die. A dead radical is very harmless. A threatened radical is often troublesome, sometimes dangerous, and always vindictive. This is what they wrote. These were the red shirts. This was a white militia that actually went in and overthrew the voted in government because it was half black, half white, and it reflected, I am teaching you things they don't teach you. So I don't want to hear another one of you black people address me with the, don't do that unless you got a better plan that I'm more than happy to get on board with. I can't do it all by myself, and neither can the few of us that stepped up. It's supposed to be the spark that lights the fuse, that hits the barrel, that blows us up together. Morning mental. You better go look up the red shirts, see how they did it. You better go look. You better go and do your research on the Wilmington insurrection of 1898. Why am I talking about this today? Because they want you to remember 9/11, but they damn sure don't want you to remember the massacre of 1898, or what they used to call the Wilmington coup of 1898. You see, the true fear of us having a militia is that militias are used to overthrow governments. Y'all still ain't figured it out yet. Y'all still got your minds on the ground. This ain't about us fighting the police. This ain't about us fighting some old crazy redneck Viking. This is about the fact that they see that we have the potential that if we continue to grow, we can overthrow the government. When you overthrow the government, you don't have to fight their military. All you have to do is take charge of certain individuals, get your hands on certain things and occupy certain places, and you will control the country. That's what they're afraid of. Now that I'm scared the hell out of y'all with that, let me go back, because I'm only educating you, which is all I ever do. And anyone with an ounce of sense that actually sits and listens to the morning mental or listens to facts over feelings. It doesn't take them long to figure out that he's highly intelligent. So he's not saying anything wrong. We just got to make sure as many people don't hear him as possible. You see, these are the fruits of change. You ever ran across somebody that you thought you knew very well? You don't know what they've been through in life. You don't know what pressures they've been subjected to. You don't know what traumatic experience may have shaped them. And then you run into them now and they're completely different. Your soul changes according to the impact, that's the best way to put it, of the events that happen within this classroom that we call Earth. Now, some people think that everything that I'm talking about is about being separated. It's not about being separated. It's about being a homogenous group that you continue to address. Oh, the blacks this, the blacks that. The blacks ain't together like that. How can you address us as if we're one group? The black separatist movement is a reaction to centuries of institutionalized white supremacy in America. Black separatists believe the answer to white racism is to form separate institutions or even a separate nation for black people. Most forms of black separation are strongly anti-white, anti-Semitic, and anti-LGBTQ. Some religious versions assert that black people are the biblical chosen people of God. What I've just read to you is the Southern Poverty Law Center's definition of black separatists. Notice that everything in there is everything anti if you just want to be all black. You got to be against everybody else. You got to be strongly anti. You don't have to be anti anything to be pro-black. When are the folks who continue to subject us to this going to accept that there's nothing wrong with us loving ourselves, no matter how jacked up we might be? The last thing I want to tell you on my morning mental this morning is, no, we're going to have to pay a little more into getting our own. And no one is collecting any money right now. No one's asking you for anything. I'm giving you the blueprint. So when it's time for, and you say, look, we ready. Y'all remember that old song? We ready. Y'all remember the old song? If you ready, then we'll start to build that. As I've said before, the liberation papers have been filed. I'm going to bore the hell out of you all tonight by reading the document to you so you will see what has been done on your behalf. Now, whether or not you all choose to stand, everybody starting to type, I'm ready. Y'all ready to go now, huh? Y'all ready to get up out of here? I mean, y'all showing up ready just to wake up one morning and say, you know what? I remember when we was in that crazy ass place where the police would kill you and you got treated. Y'all ready? Y'all talking like y'all really, I mean, you know, it's a lot of folks saying they ready until I say, let's go. And we're going to find out who's really ready. The formations were an exercise in who's ready. I mean, when I said, let's take it to the man, a lot of people said, I'm ready. And then right before we got ready to go, I got all kind of excuses and reasons and all kind of things happened and personal things, and I understand. It happens. If you're scared, say you're scared. I respect you for that. But I'm telling you right now, if you shown up ready, if y'all really want to get up out of here, if y'all ready to at least build a place for ourselves and you're ready, then this is an opportunity for everybody to collectively be a part of it. Because as I've taught you in the master plan, per Chancellor Williams, there is no one person that can do this. It would require a collective action of committees of us working together. But if we don't have the provisions, we cannot recognize the vision. Okay, you can talk about it all day. And I've heard all these people across all these different communities, they trying to talk about it. Yes, they said I've raised the bar. Oh, yes, I have, because my people need a higher bar to survive right now. They said that I've made it plain. Yes, because my people need it stated plainly, because we can't deal with the smoke and mirrors no more. We don't have that kind of time. Some people said that I am embarrassing those who told you everything. No, I only am coming to justify what they said by putting it into action. Now, if I try to put what they taught you into action and it doesn't work, then they bullshitted you. But on top of that, I am teaching you. And I have one last thing to say this before I go. I don't want to get any more emails. I don't want to get any more notifications. I don't want anyone else attempting to step into my DM telling me that it's time for me to bring you all under some form of religion. Okay, you got him now. No, let's get him to Christ. Okay, you got him, Jay. Let's get him to Allah. Hey, my brother, I see what you doing, but I'm going to need you to get all these people on their knees and pray to Jehovah. I can tell that you are new to all of this. You see, if you had been here a while, you would have recognized long ago that I told you all that I am all of you and I am none of you. You gave him those names. You gave him those persuasions. You built those religious constructs. None of those apply to the Most High. He is that he is, the same way I say I am that I am. And you cannot put me into a framework with your petty constructs. This is not a cult. This is not about dragging somebody under one person's version of your belief system. You bring your own belief system with you because you're going to need it. You can take it with you to the new place that we're going. No one's telling you that you can't be whoever you want to be, but what you're going to have to do is put that in the parking lot for 2 seconds and just be black. Matter of fact, I might have to get a shirt that say just be black. All that other stuff that y'all trying to put on top of it, we don't want the cherry on top with the whipped cream. Just be black. You want some tea? Oh yeah. You want honey? You want nah? Just give it to me straight. Just be black. That's the hardest thing for y'all to do, is to just be black. As long as you keep it like that, we ain't never got to turn around and say, where's my money? Just be black. Can you do that? I'm going to wish you all once again. Okay, he got a couple things he want to say. No, yes, no. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. There is something I have to show y'all. Y'all bear with me 1 second. I got to grab something. Hold up. I promised I would. So I will. Hand it over. Here we go. All right. To the family, I promised I would do this. To the family in Louisville, they gave me this bag. They gave me this gift bag. This bag was full of a bunch of stuff. I have to acknowledge the fact that they traveled all the way to give me this bag. And I'm like, why are they giving me this bag? Then I realized what's on display back here. And I want to say thank you. I told you I would show the bag. I also want to, a lot of y'all have been noticing I've been wearing this gold watch, this heavy duty gold watch. And I want to thank the family that actually made the watch and presented it to me in Louisville as a show of their appreciation for all we've done for Facts Over Feelings in the Morning Mental. I also wanted to acknowledge who else? I wanted to acknowledge Sue Pagenis. Sue Pagenis wrote a book. The name of the book is If the Rabbit Had the Gun, A Tale in 3 Movements. 3 stories about what happens when the rabbit has the gun. Presented this book to me also in Louisville. Thank you very much. I am reading it right now. Great reading. But at the end of the day, I wanted to say this to all of you. This is not about me. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. I am just the vessel for a message. That's it. I want to acknowledge that before the people, because some people forget that I've taught you. Whenever a person accuses another person of something, they're only accusing them of what they would do if they were in that situation. So whenever someone accuses you of something or makes some offhanded comment about, he over there, blah, 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 that's what they would do if they were in that situation. I'm in the situation I'm in because I'm called. And I'm hoping that I can save a few of my people, if not all of you. It's up to you to make the right decision. If you're not reviewing these videos, if you're not going back looking at the old classes, and I could tell some of you aren't, because you're asking me questions about things we've already addressed and taught on, then I need you to play catch up. I don't know how much more longer we're going to do this or be able to do this, but we're going to ride it till the wheels come off. And my thought for today is, while you're saying, where's my money? Do me a favor. Just be black. I'm GrandMaster Jay. Y'all call me Jay Johnson. I'll see y'all tonight. Facts over feelings. Ooh, we got something to get into tonight. But remember, for $50, We could have our own army and our own city, and you only pay the $42 one time. Then it's $10 a month after that. Not to me, but to whatever we decide to call this new government, this new entity that we're putting together. We can call it the JBB, Just Be Black. I don't care what we call it, but we better call it soon because we're running out of time. Y'all have a great day. I bid you shalom. Salute to the NFAC worldwide. Remember, if it ain't black, you might want to put it back, or think black first. Buy black, and of course, just be black. Love you all. I'll see you real soon. Wow.